Greetings, dear friends! I present to your attention the most common malfunctions and breakdowns that occur on the Hyundai Santa Fe. Let me tell you. Hyundai Santa Fe 3 fell ill with an illness that they usually hesitate to talk about. Santa has STDs. It would seem, why did the family car get such and such sores? But they are. The owners decipher this as the famous four-wheel drive prevention. Korean engineers intentionally or accidentally did not protect the spline joints of the bevel gear from moisture and dust, from which the moving parts, in the absence of due attention, are covered with corrosion, and by 70,000 kilometers the shafts are grinded into the meat due to the abundance of a negative environment. To prevent this from happening, you have to lubricate the splines yourself every 30 to 40 tkm. Because dealers are often silent about the manufacturer's miscalculations and prefer only to disassemble flights. Every knowledgeable owner is engaged in preventive maintenance, and those who do not yet know about the existing problem or have decided to forget and score pay the price for this recklessness by replacing the entire gearbox assembly along with the drives. Expensive? And how? But that's not all. The four-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe 3 DM is sick on a serious and yet another weak point here. It is known as electromagnetic clutch for connecting the rear axle produced by Dynamax. It is worth once unsuccessfully kicking the gas pedal on an unstable surface when, for example, the front wheels are on ice and the rear wheels are on the asphalt and you can hear a resounding bang in the rear. What was it that boomed? Perhaps at first you, like Piglet, carelessly ruining a thing dear to you, will not believe what happened, and think that the automatically connected four-wheel drive works somehow rudely. Indeed, rude. But the next time, the feet wheels will not work soon. Just because of the too sharp actuation of the clutch basket breaks off from the shaft, which leaves the owners looking for a specialized service for the repair of such units, or shell out for a new such part just as unreliable. With such a breakdown, no errors on the panel sometimes light up, and sometimes you can find out about what happened only in a situation in which all-wheel drive will be needed more than ever. When checking a used Hyundai Santa Fe in the summer, the fault can only be ruled out on the lift. In winter, it is enough to move sharply on the ice and follow the inclusion of the rear axle in vogue. For the rest of Santa Fe DM transmission units, there are much fewer questions. The manual gearbox itself is unkillable and you only worry about the clutch and then the mileage of 150 tkm. The A6LF 2 out of 3 assault rifle will be thinner. Some owners even manage to test the entire resource of the box, which averages from 200 to 250,000 kilometers, depending on the operating conditions and approach to maintenance. To extend the life of the automatic transmission, it is better to change the oil every 40 tkm. The rest of the automatic is unpretentious. If you do not take into account that the first version of Santa Fe 3 were completed with defective units with not tightened properly by the bolts of the central gear. No, there are no seizures in the cylinders of the 2.4-liter G4KE chain unit. There are no major and frequent problems here at all, and the resource allows you to skate at least 300,000 kilometers without capital. Something is bothering, then it is usually harmless oil leaks, for example, the sump or the front cover of the engine, chain cover. The chain itself performs its function as it should, and the problems of premature pulling, as on rear Solaris, do not occur here. V-shaped 3.3-liter D6DF engine is in nature, but to meet such exoticism is a great success. For Hyundai Santa Fe, it's like W12 for Touareg. You shouldn't especially chase after the second-hand engine, since in reliability it is slightly inferior to its 2.4-liter buzzer. The blame for everything was the buttermilk. A problem usually appears and begins to progress after 100,000 kilometers due to an increased tendency to carbon formation on pistons and rings. Decocking every 50 TKM will help delay the onset of the inevitable death of the CPG, and there is a possibility the engine will last more than 250 TKM. Otherwise, it is unlikely. Another mine in the wallet of the owner of Santa Fe with 3.3 was strewn by the timing system without hydraulic lifters. Every 100,000 kilometers you will have to adjust the valve clearness, and there are 12 of them for each half of the motor. Routine work will cost a pretty penny. Take diesel. If you change the oil on time and fill in high quality diesel fuel, then at low mileage the 2.2 D4HB diesel is absolutely harmless. Of the little things, only the motor service life of the dual mass flywheel on versions with manual transmission. By the 200,000 run, the high pressure fuel pump is already wearing out, and it is not worth waiting for the first bells with such a mileage. Otherwise, the bursting shavings from the pump will instantly finish off the expensive injectors. It is better to change the injection pump right away than to restore the entire fuel system. There is no need to wait for surprises from the turbine before 250 TKM. It will not make noise. Oil will not drive into the intake. It is better to pay all attention to the EGR afterburning system, which follows the intake tract with soot in a short time. Solve the problem, two options remain: to constantly clean the manifold with the throttle valve, or to carry out light ship turning with the recirculation valve turned off. I don't know about you, but option number 2 is closer to me. The reliability of the suspension elements of the Hyundai Santa Fe does not stand out among most of its classmates, typical middling. Of the weak points here are wheel bearings, resource about 50 to 60 TKM. By 100,000 km the bushings and stabilizer struts run out. Then by 150 TKM the ball and rear silent blocks of the front levers get tired. Front shock absorbers with supports are tenacious and sometimes cover 200 TKM without replacement. The resource of the silent blocks and shock absorbers of the rear suspension will depend on the type of drive. The mounting scheme of the levers is significantly different. The least of all is the multi-link of the all-wheel drive Santa Fe, about 150 TKM. Phew! The only comment is that changing the rubber bands is not difficult and not expensive. Front-wheel drive versions are a little more reliable, however it is unlikely that it will be possible to drive more than 200 TKM without knocking. The car turned out to be heavy. The body of Hyundai Santa Fe 3 deserved least of all comments. It does not rust, the paintwork does not fall off no reason, reliable. Sticking off the drive for opening the gas tank flap is easy, quick, and, interestingly, self-eliminated by the owners. Chronic incontinence of door, unfortunately, is not treated stops in any way, except for replacing parts with new ones. The rest of the body is better able to withstand the external environment than the same Volkswagen Touareg. Among the auxiliary equipment, the first thing to start is to snort the air conditioner tubes, which is why you often have to fill the system with freon or give the sleeves for repair for rear crimping. Electrical breakdowns also occur on Hyundai Santa Fe 3. It happens that the contact is lost in the block of buttons of the electric drive of the driver's seat. However, the most common failures are parking sensors and the rear view camera. The wiring in the rear bumper area is practically not protected from dirt, which is why the contact of one or another system is lost in the lack of interest of Korean engineers to do it right. It is clear that any more or less intelligent auto electrician will solve this problem within an hour, but its massiveness spoils the overall picture of the car. The standard audio system let us down even more. The failure of the head unit means that it's time for the wallet to lose weight by a couple of tens of thousands of rubles to buy a new radio. You can also heal. However, only a select few are taken for soldering and replacing the board, and it is not a fact that such people are in your city. If you already found a doctor, then do not forget to refresh the GU for Android and the music will sound in new colors. On this, information about the problems of Hyundai Santa Fe is exhausted. If you know more or disagree with what you heard, I'm waiting for you in the comments.